Hey everyone, this is Dan, welcome back. So we're going to be looking at that fast descending pattern at the start of this video. It's all picked, and if you have seen a lot of my previous videos, you'll know for a fact that I love finding fast, smooth, seamless ways that we can transition from one position to another position within scales, or from one part of the fretboard to another, be that ascending or descending. So this is just another one of those ways. It does take us from the 15th fret all the way down to the open A string. I would also say look up Troy Grady and check out the Pop-Tarts lick. It's an Yngwie Malmsteen lick that he analyzes. And this particular sequence that we're going to look at here is based completely off that. It does use a different scale, it is longer, there are some minor differences, but the basics of it is from that Pop-Tarts lick. So let's get right into it. Okay, so as usual, what I like to do first is just play through the whole sequence, because there are a lot of people that like to just learn these licks that way without any messing around. So we're going to be starting alternate picking here from a downstroke. This will be the whole lick played with tab underneath. Okay, so to really get to grips with this particular sequence, there's a little group of notes that you kind of want to get under your fingers, and it's not too difficult to learn. It's only 4 notes. It consists of a low note, a high note, middle note, and back to a low note, okay? So it'll sound like this when we start off. Low, high, middle, low, okay? That sort of thing reoccurs as we go down the neck. Remember that we're keeping this in the key of A minor, so if you want to look up the all the notes for this and all the positions, you can do that. You'll find it on Google pretty easily. Okay, so when we've done these first 4 notes, then we'll move down to 10, 13, 12, 10, low, high, middle, low. So we have 8 notes there. Now get into grips with this particular phrase here. You can just kind of go back and forward between those 2 patterns if you like. You don't have to do it too fast, just kind of get to grips with it. Because when you're learning this lick, you want to be playing it pretty slowly anyway to start off with. Okay, so the next section, every time we switch to a new string, we're going to be playing 10 notes on that new string. So we have what I would look at as 2 lead-in notes here. Okay, which is 13, 12 on the B. And then after that, we can look at those 2 chunks of 4 notes of the low, high, middle, low, okay? Okay, low, high, middle, low, high, middle, low. We have the 2 leading notes. So that's 10 notes altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So those notes there will be 13, 12, and then 10, 13, 12, 10, then 8, 12, 10, 8, okay? Then we move down to the G string, doing exactly the same thing. 2 lead-in notes here, which will be 10, and then 9. Don't know where I got 8 from. So, and then we go back to those groups of 4, 2 of them. So we have 7, 10, 9, 7, and then 5, 9, 7, 5, okay? Switching to the D string, we do exactly the same thing. The 2 leading notes here will be frets 9 and 7. Then we go 5, 9, 7, 5. Slide down the first finger. 3, 7, 5, 3, okay? And the same thing then happens on the A string. So we have 2 leading notes of 7 and 5. Then we have 3, 7, 5, 3. 2, 5, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the 11th note is really a chord here. It's a power chord, or the open A power chord basically. So all together we will have that sort of thing anyway. Okay, so a couple of things I want to talk about regarding this progression. A few people might find they're having a little bit of trouble here and there, you know, when they're changing strings, for example, like a section like this. It's the first point in this progression where we change strings. So I finished that note there on an upstroke, down to a downstroke. Okay, so we're travelling this way up the strings. Whenever I do that, I descend, you know, in that manner. I always finish each string on an upstroke. So if I ascend, I'm finishing on a downstroke. I would suggest typing into YouTube, again I'm going to mention this guy's name, Troy Grady, downward pick slanting. That'll be very, very relevant for this video. I'm not going to go into great detail because he does, but it's the whole idea is that you slant the back of your pick down here, so when you do an upstroke, your pick naturally comes away from the strings, allowing you not to get caught up in between them when you're crossing strings, okay? So that's great for, you know, finishing these sequences when descending on an upstroke. So check him out. Another thing I want to talk about is where, in a real life situation, when playing music, would you want to use something like this? Now, in short, I would say this really, to me, is just a practice routine type of thing. The main thing is to try to improve your coordination between left and right hand with all the alternate picking and crossing strings, and then going from the high end of the guitar to the low. So, you know, we've got different positions that we've got our hand in here, so a few stretches and such, different intervals, differences between the notes, and that's all great for, you know, working on those sorts of things because we're going all over the fretboard. You know, the more you work on it, the smoother it'll get, and your aim really is just to keep on playing this until you can get it more consistent and smoother as a warm-up routine. Now, you can also use this sort of thing maybe at the end of a song, which is why in the intro I kind of did this. I made this kind of drum fill into an A minor pad sound, trying to simulate the end of a song, that sort of thing. That's another point where you would actually use this. You might not want to use it within a song, but to end a song, you know, have that flashy Yngwie Malmsteen style run just to finish off the song. It's a great sort of thing. But as I was saying, for playing this within a song, unless you were to really plan this out, it's not something you could really improvise well and put into, you know, any piece of music, because we're starting off here with 8 notes, and then the sequence consists of 10 notes thereafter for each string. So trying to think of that and fit it into like a 4/4 timing naturally is going to be quite difficult. But I mean, I guess it can be done, but it would have to be well planned out. So for me, it's more of a practice routine or something to do at the end of a song. But for sure, within an actual song, trying to do it as an improvisation is just it's probably not going to work too well. But if you want the challenge, if you want to take the challenge, that's up to you. Okay, so one of, if not the most important factors to take away from this progression, disregarding all the talk about technique and how it helps us in that way, is really how it helps us map out and be able to travel in between different positions of the A natural minor scale. Of course, you can use different scales if you like and practice it with that, but A natural minor is a great example because we can easily start up on the high end here on the 15th fret of the high E down to the open A. Just a nice, easy way to travel down. So we can play this in its purest form with the notes that we would use in this progression just as a descending scale, and it would sound like this. So firstly, I suggest that you just spend a little bit of time practicing going up and down with that scale, and you can just find little areas like this that fit under your fingers very well, so you can slide around, and then know that underneath we have this scale here, or this little area, okay, and there we have. So it's really figuring out the little box shapes that we have and linking them all together. You know that you have certain parts where you slide as you descend. You know? So we're not talking about the picking and progression that we did earlier. We're just adding in different legato sections. You can do it however you wish. You can kind of go like a... Like, take that sort of pattern and just move that down. Playing it nice and slowly there for you, so maybe you might want to pick up on that and learn to play that a little faster. It's always a cool little legato progression there. But that's the idea. So you find yourself in one area and then you'll know, oh yeah, I remember playing that progression around here, and I know now that there's this pattern. So if I'm playing here, I'll know that we have underneath it, and I know that I can get from here nice and quickly all the way down to the low A, and be able to switch from this position down to this position. Nice and simple. So it's just a fantastic way of trying to visualize these areas, mix in the things that you already know. So just take a lick that you already know, keep note of the little pattern that we've been talking about around here, keep note of where it is, and try and link something that you already know into the new patterns that we've been learning here. It's just such a cool thing to do, and it should hopefully work out great in trying to take you to the next level and not getting stuck in the little areas and not knowing where to go next. Just breaking out of these little boxes. Anyway, I'll leave it there for this video. I'll see you next time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Give us a like if you enjoyed it.